We're going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Shit Live. I am your host, Pat Naparano. With me, as always, my co-host, Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. Everybody, give them a round of applause.
Waiting like that.
There we go. I just want to say, everyone is looking extra cute today. I just want to throw that one
thank
out
you.
there at the top of the
Right
show.
back at you,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Everyone.
Yeah, I'm going for the Boris
I
Johnson
also
look.
want to
So.
say that one got me. Again, we had. I love how it's like the show starts. And you're like, it's just Pat going, "All right, we're going live in 3, 2," and then it comes in.
Wait, really? Like
Yep.
live?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Because all right, we'll figure it out afterwards.
It's a little bit of behind the scenes magic for y'all.
We'll fix that in post.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
All right, boys. So, how's everyone's horror film movie week? I think I said that
2
right.
weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, I guess. Well, you guys,
Ooh,
2 weeks.
me and Dan saw A Quiet Place last weekend. You guys saw it this weekend, and
I'm
you
just
watched
saying,
The
it's
Conjuring.
been 2 weeks since we did a show.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
true.
it's nice having time off, but also it is like I was like, God damn, like it feels such
It feels
a
good to be back.
like I did not open Streamlabs once when I was not doing a show or was not preparing for one. It was a good feeling.
You were just relaxing. Forgot it existed.
Yeah, it's
Didn't have
true.
to
Actually, I
stress
did.
out.
Just like the founding fathers intended.
Ooh.
Oh, zing.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
got some news for you. I got some news for you, motherfuckers. Okay, and I think Nick,
news.
you have some news for me as well.
What?
Okay. We're just gonna get started. So, God of War Ragnarok was
Do I?
delayed to 2022.
Surprise, surprise.
No.
Yeah, who was? I mean, oh no. The
Did anybody think this
Leto
was
watch
actually
thing
coming out?
is gonna play. Okay,
Never.
yeah. When was the
Never.
first trailer for this? Was the end of 2020, right? At that
Back
state
in-
of play, right?
It would. Right. It was the state of play. Right.
And now, I'm not like into the idea of having like a rushed game, but also like, why did they say 2021 when they knew it was gonna be 2022? They all
Because
I
they
think
want to
were-
get you
they were
thinking
just-
about it.
They were just hoping. They want you to figure it out and get you thinking and get you all excited and then be like, here, it's on PlayStation 4.
Oh
yeah,
my
I've
God.
gotten to a point where anytime a company is saying, "Hey, we're gonna put this game out," then I'm gonna add about 6 months to the actual release date. It's just from
Very
moving
fair.
forward, just mentally,
So,
I'm adding 6 months.
I actually kind of had this policy that I came up with in my life that I think all video game publishers should follow. Are you guys ready to hear what this is?
It's a good
I
take.
think-
I've heard it.
I think that if it is the age of the internet, okay, shit spreads like wildfire. If your product is good and people like it, they'll talk about it. Okay, Twitter will be crazy with a hashtag or whatever. Okay, if you're just announce your game when it's done, you know what I mean, or like when it's 80% complete. Be done, and then be like,
Yeah,
hey,
80%.
this is out in 3 months, or it's out 6 months from now, and then just dump your whole marketing budget into digital ads. It'll be fine. It'll be
I
fine.
100% agree. Like, that's the
Mhm.
thing.
I
You're going to talk to me
promise.
about a game that's going to come out in a year and a half. I'm like, okay. Like, there's not, like, maybe I might buy one of the prequel games, but if I'm that excited about it, I've probably played the prequel game, and now I'm just dick
what-
in hand for a year and
I'm
a half.
assuming that has to do with like how they're going to budget things out, right? So it's like if they put a press release out there and there's buzz going on, people are talking about it, that helps them kind of figure out where they want to put their marketing budget, maybe secure investors. That's my thought. Like,
I like the marketing hot words.
Yeah, I like the. It's like
That's what I'm here for.
I think
I'm
we
an
just need to level
intellect.
set, you know?
Oh my
We
god, no!
level set.
We gotta
What other
move the
benchmarks?
needle.
What other good reason do they have other than that type of stuff? You know what I mean?
Other than like
Yeah,
corporate,
yeah.
I think it's
other
that
than
they're
like
used
corporate.
to doing marketing in a certain way, and like it's
Well,
like you don't have
okay.
to do marketing like that for games.
Let's.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of arbitrary. You know, if the game's not done yet and they're delaying it, that's it. You know what I mean? There's nothing to discuss. I really, truly.
No.
You know what I mean? It just sucks that it's being delayed, but it's being delayed because it's gonna be better. We know it's gonna be better. You know.
Well, I mean, there's Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but
well, that Cyberpunk was so big. It was the world of Cyberpunk.
How big?
Was
How big was
so
it?
massive.
you guys,
like this big, like
Okay.
Grand
very
Theft Auto
big.
5.
But the thing is,
I'll start here.
God of War is not. It's not going to be at the same. It's going to be amazing, I have no doubt. But it's not going to be at the same grandeur and the same
Well,
scale.
they said-
where Cyberpunk had so much room for error.
Well,
I feel
they
like.
said that part of the reason why that there is delay is because they don't have access to physical spaces right now, and we're trying to do like performance capture, and
Oh.
you're trying to get in a
Alright.
room together and hash out story beats and stuff. You're not gonna be able to develop a game properly. Only so much can be done from home.
Tom Cruise is making it work. You can make it work.
Top
for you.
Gun Maverick
Actually,
is
funny you bring
coming
that up. Tom Cruise
Yeah.
actually specifically said, "We are not shutting this fucking movie down," at the top of his Tom Cruise voice. And Mission Impossible 7 got shut fucking down this week, okay? So not
And
even
that-
he.
God.
Whoever got tested positive for COVID
Fired.
is now on Tom Cruise's shit list.
Yeah,
Just like
Tom
walking around
Cruise
trailer to
stared
trailer,
him down.
punching people.
dude. If Tom,
Tom
Cruise got
Cruise
arrested for
personally
assault,
walked him off set.
got arrested for assault this week, I wouldn't be surprised.
Make my day.
Go ahead.
But the thing with video games, I just feel like you were saying earlier, Pat, like tell me maybe a month or 2 months ahead of time, because I'm still not setting time aside to go to the store to buy this game. I will get it when I feel like getting it when it's announced. Even if you tell me a week beforehand, I'll
Yeah.
be like, sweet, awesome. This is great. I know it's gonna be ready.
I mean,
Just
I
let me
feel
know.
like that situation
Yeah,
is
same.
just for God of War Ragnarok, but I mean like game publishers at large. Here.
Yeah.
3 to 6 months after you're done, you'll be fine. It's a digital product.
Exactly.
All right, like you could literally post a link. There you go.
It just makes
But
me
I
think
love
about
how
like stuff.
they like.
Hold on.
No,
but-
go ahead, Dan.
No. You
No,
go.
I
Go,
was
Dan.
just gonna. I was just gonna say I love how they were, even though they probably at the very beginning were planning on launching this on PS4 as well. I love how they did almost like the compliment sandwich thing, where it was just like, here's some bad news, and then boom, good news. PlayStation 4 users are gonna get it too. Just
Okay,
to
that's what I
ease
wanted
the
to bring
burden in
up.
the PR release.
Okay, so I'm kind of like I'm like a jaded cop when it comes to this situation. Okay, it's I don't hate the
James.
fact that Horizon 2 and God of War are going to PS4, because they have a point. You don't build up a community of 110 million people, and then when it comes out, when people can't get the fucking console, you know what I mean? If more people could get PS5s, I think this would just be a PS5 exclusive. But since there's
Agreed.
only so many that are out there due to the coronavirus, and that shit isn't changing until 2022, as we know, with Batman, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Yeah, this was inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
it was
mean?
it was gonna
And
happen.
it's fine.
Nobody's surprised.
They're
Everybody's
distinguishing the difference between how the games perform too, and the obvious difference is like the ray tracing and like the water effects and the water engine and the lighting. So like they're building the game. I want to say they're building it in the same engine, but they have to tone down the graphics, so they have to tone down performance.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no way they're building two full different versions of these games. I just don't think that's what's happening.
It's just gonna be the one game, and then they're just gonna pull all the sliders back.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like And like for people like me, like I personally don't care about all that. As long as I can still punch things, throw an axe, and hear boy throughout the game, I'll be happy on my
Boy.
PlayStation
Yeah, and on the
4.
other end of the
Boy.
spectrum, this game is going to be the best game on PS5 ever. And if you don't play it on PS5, I won't consider you've played it.
There's gonna be the people who have played it. And
Yeah,
the
there's
people
going
who
to
have
be
played
the
it on
people.
PS5.
There's going to be
We're
the
gonna-
people who
we're
have
gonna have a
played
bit
it,
of a
and then
war.
the people who claim to have played it.
Well, that's the thing. This is now going to be every conversation with Pat moving forward about any game. He was like, "But no, dude, you didn't like really play it."
Well,
though.
now
Like,
my
you didn't-
argument
the
will shift
shadows-
to:
the shadows. Oh
did
my
you
God, dude.
play it?
Mwah.
Did you play it, or did you experience it? Okay, there's a difference, you know. You
I'm
play
not
Call of
buying a
Duty.
next-gen console until there's a new Grand Theft Auto game.
Damn.
Ooh.
There's been
That's the
multiple
goal- that's the
consoles
goalpost.
in
That's some
between this,
fucking
is the
Axl
problem.
Rose shit right
where,
there.
That's where I draw the
That's
line.
some Axl
When there's a
Rose
new-
shit, Nick. You're straight up just like, until fucking Chinese government declares democracy, I am not putting out this Guns N' Roses album. Okay? It's exactly what this is. Textbook.
Yeah, what? In honor of Tiananmen Square, I'm not buying a PS5.
All right, we went there. Yeah, so it's coming to PS4. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You know, just because the PS5 is out doesn't mean the PS4 sucks now. Okay? That is only subjectively true. If my PS5 broke, I could still play all of, I mean, maybe this isn't a great thing with the PS5, but I could still
I was
play
gonna
all
say,
of my
you're
games
talking to yourself, like,
on PS4, you know? It'll be fine. Tell me about the Atari,
play 'em on-
Nick.
I'll play
Tell me
'em on
about the
PC.
Atari.
Well, this is the comeback story that I've been waiting for.
Wow.
So
Let me tell you,
Atari
they're
is releasing-
thrilled to hear that. I just want you to know that. Okay, they are probably
I know.
fucking so excited.
Everyone is amped up. They're waiting on bated breath.
Yeah.
Atari VCS console is going to be available as of June 15th. It is their first release since 1996.
Oh, good for you.
And it's going to feature 100 classic games. Yeah, it's with the, what is it called? The Atari VCS Vault. So that gives you 100 classic games, but it's also going to have a bunch of new titles. You're going to have like independent developers available in their ecosystem. That and the system is going to have a PC mode where you can run Windows, Linux, and Chrome operating system on it.
Whoa! Everybody, give it
It-
up the indie horn. Nick and Burke, that's the indie horn.
Also,
they are
also,
here
you
to
know,
honk the horn of the
SteamOS on
indie
it.
developers.
It's all right. I mean, I have a Switch and I have a computer. I'm not going to buy an Atari system to play all the indie games that I have on the other systems.
That's fair. I think there's a market out there for this. It's like our dads, like the guys who want like I just want to
No,
play
it's-
Pong.
My dad
it's-
would
it's cool,
never
man, like-
fucking touch this. He'd be like, "What is this? Can it
Who-
play
who-
8 tracks?"
Maybe not your dad then. Maybe
Alright.
not your dad.
No, but I think
Other
it's cool, and
dad.
I think it lends to like how like Nintendo re-released like the mini versions of the NES and the SNES, and like everybody's doing that kind of thing.
Yo, I love
They're
the
just trying to
idea of the
capitalize
virtual
off of it.
console. You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that Nintendo has a whole section of the Switch where if you pay for Nintendo Online, you get
Oh yeah,
all of the old back catalog just to play. And you don't have to download it. It's like cloud saves and everything.
no,
It's
cloud
fucking
saves, and
awesome.
it's awesome. It's all save state too. So when you're playing like Mario 1 and you just keep dying on one part, you just go back to the save state and redo it. Like
Mhm.
it's cool shit.
I love
um,
it.
For this system, I would love to see this take off. I'm not saying it's going to, but I would love to see it like actually
Nick,
take
what
off and add a new
2600 games
new
are you dying to
what's-
play? What Atari
I
2600 games?
literally don't care about
E.T..
the games. I just want to see somebody. I just want to see this comeback story. I don't know who's willing to pay
support it.
$300
In it
this
for the
console.
story.
Actually,
Yeah,
wait a
no,
minute.
I want to see this success story.
Nick wants to
Well,
see
get it with
Atari
the
come back.
classic
I
and
mean, it
the-
would be cool.
And the modern.
It would be cool. But
Actually,
What I really go ahead.
I was gonna say I pulled up. I found the specs for it. So it's got a Ryzen GPU. It's got about 32 gigs of storage, 8 gigs of RAM. couple USB, couple HDMI. It's got Bluetooth compatibility too, so it seems like it's just a cheap computer. Like, it's really what, like, I'm just reading down here. I'm like, okay.
For $60, you can get a classic joystick.
I saw that too. I was like, if that isn't the biggest,
you can get the joystick and the Xbox style controller.
if that isn't the biggest slap in the fucking face, then I don't know what is. For
Hey,
60,
how about the fact that the wood paneling is an upcharge?
wow, that's classy as shit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an additional feature that doesn't come standard.
Straight up, I would do that. Like, you're not gonna get an Atari without like the shitty wood paneling.
Right?
Of course.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
an Atari.
re-wood panel my entire room just to play that thing.
Yeah, I like.
I
the way
have
it
wood
looks.
paneling downstairs, so I could definitely set this up, and it would blend right in.
Right
But,
next to
honestly,
the PS5.
So for somebody like me, like we were talking about earlier before the show, as a casual gamer, it's like I kind of do have a soft spot in my heart for those games where you don't really have to invest too much. You could just go jump in, play for 20 minutes or a few hours. You're not really, like a lot of the games today that I would play, like a Red Dead or something like that, where it's like that takes hours upon hours upon hours. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe if I had more disposable income, I might buy one.
Red Dead is not the type of game you can just like, all right, I had a stressful day at work. I have an hour to play video games. Let me jump into Red Dead. No, you need to shut the shades and wake up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning to play Red Dead. What I do like is the fact that they announced,
God
like, hey, this
damn,
is dropping.
if that isn't the fucking truth. Holy shit.
Speaking the truth.
That's literally how I started Red Dead. I was like, I can't play this tonight. I was like, I can't start
You
this.
want me to start
This is
5 hours
easily a 6-hour investment before I
You blink
before I get
and
to
it's
the title
nighttime.
screen?
yeah. Oh my god, that was fucked up. Okay, you know what? Hold on though. About the whole the games that you can just jump right into. Bro, that's why Call of Duty exists. Call of Duty was great in college. You get out of class, you got 2 hours, you get into some duty, you get like 5 matches out of the way, you head to class.
You get really mad.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your other class.
Yeah.
That and like I hate that style of game just because it doesn't interest me at all, and I hate the community. Like I hate the Call of Duty community. They all
Oh my
suck.
god.
You're not wrong.
He hates the meta. He hates the meta of Call of Duty.
Bro, you're gonna get a lot of fucking military stands in here.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Be like, don't you
I'll
know
have you know.
my rank in Call of Duty is like 56. I prestige like 16 times.
I will call an airstrike on you.
1v1 me,
the
Nuketown right now,
funniest
knives
part-
only.
The funniest part about
1v1
this,
me, I will show hole in Nuketown.
the funniest part about this article is like talking about how like this is just exactly what Atari needs, because they merged with Infogrames in 2008. And they were sued by the developers of Roller Coaster Tycoon in 2017 for unpaid royalties. They're they're not paying their employees, their developers. People are like quitting left and right. So it's just like, number one, I would love to see this just turn around and like be the thing that saved them, but also it would be so funny if this is like what sunk the company. Is like
it damn well might sink it, because like who's gonna pay $400 fucking dollars for this? Well, it's literally a laptop. It's literally like, or not even a laptop. It's, a small standalone like unit that can.
Well, to me, it's like, as
computer.
far as like the reason I have a console in my house is I like the tactile experience. I hate playing, like, I'm not a PC guy, although I play PC games with you guys. I don't like WASD. Like, this doesn't do anything for me. Oh, I missed it. I couldn't hear it. Which drop was that?
That was bitch.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Look at
it's
this,
just
Nick. Look at this.
Yeah,
it goes into my computer.
Well, the cord that I have that connects to my controller is this long, so I don't know if that'd be a fun experience.
What's this? This right here is literally,
Wait, what is this? This is a different
literally
one.
the greatest controller ever made, and everyone who has a PC should have one of these.
PlayStation.
That's the Xbox One.
Yeah, Xbox One.
Well,
okay. That is a great
N64 with the third arm is probably better, I think.
What? Then that controller?
Yeah, I think
Oh.
the N64 controller is the best thing.
Oh, you're being
No, the
silly.
SNES
Oh,
controller.
there we go.
Nice.
Mike is just flexing
Actually, you're gonna find Nick when you guys are playing Rust or Valheim one day. He's gonna be using the joystick.
I got
He's
something
just gonna
for
be
your
running
asses.
around. All right, guys, hold on.
I got
can't
something for
I
your
can't make
ass.
proper
Hold on.
turns.
No, he gets like painfully good at playing Rust with like the Atari controller.
Imagine he then picks up
Now-
Fortnite. He becomes one of those kids that can build on Fortnite
Is
with
that
a
a
joystick.
is that a thing that's possible?
I sincerely
Yeah,
doubt
I
it.
mean, dude, everybody plays like you can see a bunch of people like I've seen people play Dark Souls with like a DDR mat.
Okay.
Like-
Well, that's the thing, and also there's those kids out there that are like born with like
like
deformed
the-
hands and stuff. It's like if they can manage, I can manage with a joystick. Like if I can't figure that out, then that's on me.
Check it out.
Right, you know, the people who have to do this out of necessity, but
Yeah.
you're just
I was
gonna
about
pick
to
it up-
say
They're
you're
used to,
doing
like,
that out of
looking at
choice.
Wait,
Yeah,
what the
if I
fuck?
can't do it,
What
I'm
What are we
too
talking about?
Nick-
I walked away for 5
Nick-
seconds. How did we get here?
Nick made a comment about people with disabilities.
They have that Xbox controller for.
I respect
with
the hell out of
disabilities.
those people.
No,
Here's what I
know.
ha-
Nick-
here's
Nick
what
is-
I
Nick
have.
is saying, well, you have a GameCube controller.
Yeah, and I have an N64 controller. I have a whole N64 setup. I don't know where any of the fucking controllers are.
They're here somewhere, but they'll be whatever. But Nick's talking about he wants to learn how to play all of those, all the games with like the, what do you call them? What kind of controllers are they? The joysticks
Actually, what
or
would be even cooler is hooking it up to like a piano keyboard and learning it on that, and just map the keys of the keyboard.
That's what, yeah, Pat. I was saying where the people play like Dark Souls with the DDR mats and everything. Like,
I
or,
want
like,
to
the-
see people
the-
play with bananas.
I've
What?
seen people play shit with the you know,
Like
you know, the,
Guitar
like
Hero.
Donkey Konga.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen Guitar Hero and I've seen those Donkey Konga things. Like people play with those.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
and I've seen people do the Rock Band drums, play Call of Duty with
Yeah.
the Rock Band drums.
Oh,
That's
I've
pretty
seen
cool
that,
too.
dude. That one
Yeah.
guy who was like ding ding ding, and a guy who was sort of,
Yeah.
and then up,
Wait,
and he
what-
gets like a
what
double
did he do?
headshot.
What was it like?
It was like ding ding ding.
Ding ding ding.
I killed myself too, but my last name was.
Ring, ring,
Okay.
ring, ring.
Oh, for crying out loud! I said big it is!
But yeah, I mean, listen, these virtual
that's
consoles,
impressive.
they're cool, they're fun, but they are also nostalgia trips. Would we not agree?
They're
Like,
purely,
like, look what we
they're
just did.
purely to like buy and put on your shelf and be like awesome. Like I've got these cool like
Yeah,
remakes of these.
I have
consoles.
it if it's there. There's a Sega one too that I really like. That I like. I would like the SNES one. I would like the Sega one. I think that one would be cool too. And then in the future, if they do like an N64 or a GameCube one, I mean,
I would be so down for
GameCube
N64.
GameCube is one of my all-time favorite consoles. I would absolutely
GameCube's
buy
my
that
favorite
one.
console by
Yeah.
far. Like
The best.
I think there's a good Pat. Who did the Costa Concordia video?
Internet historian.
Internet Historian. Internet Historian does a great video on GameCube that I highly recommend, and like how that game system should have been so much more, and that would do so well if they rebooted it.
I hope so. That would be fucking cool. I mean, apparently there's going to be a new Switch announced next week. So, you know.
well, it's just like the Switch Ultimate. So
Oh,
Like, that's
are you
it,
a Switch
right?
Ultimate? I thought I'm not on Switch Pro. I'm not on Switch Pro or Switch Ultimate team. I'm not on either of those.
I don't know what it is. What is it? Is it gonna
It's not
be...
out. It's not released. It's not out yet. But this is speculation. Switch Ultimate is what I've heard before. I've heard Switch
Oh.
Pro.
Well,
I would like Switch Ultimate because I want like a Smash.
Nope,
kinda-
nope. If they do not name this motherfucker the Super Nintendo Switch, I will freak out. Okay.
They're not going.
There's
to,
no
because Super Nintendo
way-
itself is already.
There's
a
no
trademark
way
thing.
that who's ever in charge of this project didn't hear that and was like, "That's immediately what we're calling this. This is gonna be the. It's gonna be some lame shit." Though.
all right.
You're right.
Hashtag Super Nintendo Switch.
Get it, get
Well, I
it
mean,
going.
There
Get
were-
it going.
trending.
There were 40
Get it
fucking
trending.
versions of the DS, so none of them were like the Super Nintendo DS.
Do you guys
like-
think that the Switch controllers are too small? I just don't like their.
Well,
I feel like I'm
I don't
holding
know.
something
They
that
got
was like a.
teeny buttons.
I don't
don't
know
like
what the
tiny
next one.
buttons.
I don't like that.
Hold on. I don't know what the
I do
next
think-
one's
I do
gonna
think
be,
It's too tiny.
but it's meant to play
A lot of their
4K
audience is children.
4K Switch games. That's what it's
And a
meant
lot
to
of their
play.
audience is us.
I don't need to play 4K Switch games.
I got man hands over here.
I don't want to play fucking Skyrim in 4K on my Switch. I'm done with this. Like, give me Mario games. I want to play Mario Party.
Well,
I
that's
wanna
a
play Mario
speculation,
Kart.
bro. Is that Legend of Zelda is gonna be announced with this new fucking Switch?
It's not gonna be. They're
Well-
gonna. It's like, I would
Like-
love it. Believe me, I would love if they came out and said, "Here's the new Switch, new Breath of the Wild 2 coming out." They're just gonna look at you and spit in your face and say, "Here's a $600 Switch."
You're a little fat girl.
Oh.
That says tender.
But yes. As much as I'd like to be proved wrong, I don't unfortunately think I will be.
Liz says the Switch controls are perfect for her small hands.
She's got woman hands.
Go. She's got lady hands.
She's got lady hands.
Yo,
I've got
who's just
bad
positivity? Thanks for
hands.
jumping in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but
Well,
thanks.
that's why I use like the
You're
pro
just positive.
controllers and the
I have the pro
knockoff
oh yeah,
controllers.
I actually played Smash for the first time in a long time last night, and I forgot how fun that game is on the pro controller.
It's a good game.
Yeah, you guys, I'm gonna replay Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's actually an update for this show. We did a whole episode on
really?
it. We did a whole
What
episode
the
on
audience has been waiting for.
it. We did a whole episode on it. I'm trying to fill some time. Yeah.
I think we could get right into the reviews. I think I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's a lot to be said.
Stretch. Just give me like 3 minutes. So I
He's been dying to
decided
talk
this
about
is the
this.
game I'm gonna put
Right.
my fucking time into. Okay, this is the next RPG I'm gonna dump my time into. The reason for this is that Ubisoft. Okay, you guys know the story. I got soft locked out of the game, so I couldn't progress it any further. Therefore, I did not
Yeah.
like it anymore. I thought that was bullshit. Okay,
And
So-
so you didn't pick it up after that, right?
well, I mean, I had bought the game already. I did not pick it up after that at all.
Okay.
I realized what you said while I was answering it.
In short, no.
Yeah, in short, no. So basically, Ubisoft put these things in the game called multipliers, right? And you can pay $10 and get 50% more EXP per mission and shit that you do. So it's been enough time where I can't just pick up the game and start again. Like I got to do the tutorial again. So I'm thinking of just erasing my save data, spending the $10 on this EXP thing so I can level up faster and get to where I would left off way quicker. And then, play through the rest of the game and see how much I like it.
How far of the game did you get through?
I got 30 hours in.
That's right. Nick, what am I looking at here?
What are you
That's
talking
bad.
about?
No, I understand it's bad, but why am I looking at it?
Oh, just because I didn't really know what Pat was talking about, so I just was like, oh, let me find an old picture of Pat.
I love
How
it.
far down did you go on my Instagram to find that?
That's in my files.
Oh, you have that
He-
on.
He wakes up and screenshots that every morning, so it's at the top.
Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, my queen above 18.
Oh,
All right.
Horrible.
All right. Well, either way, yeah, I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'll let you guys know how it is. Plus, I want to use my
Okay.
PS5. I never fucking use it, so this
That's
is
true.
this is an excuse too.
Yeah, maybe you should get an Atari.
Yeah, maybe I should get another dust collector. Oh, I got the PS5 media remote too. It's cool. Now I have the most expensive streaming box ever created. What
There you
is
go.
this one?
There's an old Snapchat filters. Is what Nick's pulling up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
This is wowsy woozy, Pat.
This is to the people listening on Spotify. You got to get over here to YouTube.
There's exclusive behind the paywall content.
Exclusive
All right.
visual
Okay.
content.
All right. We're going to go to the review.
Don't talk shit about Toro.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So these past 2 weeks was pretty much it's the ending of the pandemic. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Start a hot girl
Yeah,
summer.
so-
it basically like, New Jersey kind of like fully reopened. So we went to the movies and we saw A Quiet Place 2 last weekend. Well, at least Danny and I did. We saw it last weekend. And
in theaters.
in
Don't take me
theaters,
back.
in theaters. And then Nick and Burke went this weekend, and then everybody watched The Conjuring on HBO Max because no one was
Everybody.
because then nobody was seeing that shit in theaters.
I ain't patronizing that in theaters.
I'm not gonna risk my health for you. Okay, so pretty much how we're gonna do this is we entitled the episode "A Quiet Place Part 2" versus The Conjuring 3. However, I think it's an important distinction to make that it's subjective. You like whatever you want. However, we're gonna tell you here out of the four of us what we think is good.
You're
How is this
entitled.
How is this subjective? This is not subjective. Which of these was the better movie? There's no subjectivity.
We are
Okay,
the
hold on.
definitive voice on
I'm
this.
setting the rules. Okay, I'm getting the rules. I'm getting the rules out. We're gonna do non-spoilers, and then we're gonna do spoilers for each, and we're just gonna compare the two. I think it's just funny how there's two big horror franchises come out 1 week apart from each other, and really we're not gonna compare them. And like, yes, Danny, in my opinion, I agree with you. It's obvious which one of these two is better. As a matter of fact, as I was watching it, I was like, "There's no way the other one's gonna be better than this. It's literally not possible." Like, it's just a totally different experience. So let's go through non-spoilers. Let's start with A Quiet Place Part 2. What's everybody got? First thing that comes to the top of your head.
Sound design was incredible.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
by that, I mean the quietness was incredible. John Krasinski is just getting better and better as a filmmaker, which I mean, I know this is
100%.
his second movie, but he pulled out all the new stops that he learned, which is just it was so immersive. It was so good. The tracking shots were incredible. Amazing movie.
Yeah, I think technical wise, like, this one is technically, as filmmaking goes, is better in every way than the first one.
Absolutely.
100%.
I would say, just to talk about like the sound design, I think the masterpiece of the whole thing was the opening scene where it's day one and it cuts between complete silence and chaotic noise. Masterfully done.
I would agree with that.
They do that. They pull that back throughout the film and everything, and I think it's really cool. It's when a lot of the time is when the daughter is on her own, and until she's like physically someone like actually like there's a physical interaction like touching her to get her attention or something like that. That's when you snap in, and it helps. Like, I thought it's super cool because obviously she's deaf, and like that's a super cool way. It's very obvious, but it's also it works.
It's also
it works very well.
It's never been done before. Like something so obvious, but it's really like it's such a unique thing.
Right. Like, I didn't think it was by any means like, I wasn't like, whoa, that's sick. That's how did they do that? How did they think of it? It's very like, okay, cool. Like, but you did it. And you did it damn well.
I think it's
And
a
one
very
of the great things about
Go
it.
ahead, Danny.
I was just going to say, one of the great things about it is, especially for me, after not being in movie theaters for such a long time, where, you're used to it being so loud and you're just being bombarded. It was deafeningly quiet.
Mhm.
Like, it was submersively quiet to the point where there was nobody in the theater making a sound because all of a sudden, it's a visual and auditory, whatever the word is, audio media, where all of a sudden you just eliminate one of those. And then it's such close shots of the daughter as well. It's claustrophobic. And you're just like, I just want to know what's happening. What is happening around her? I just need to know.
I will say, there was one scene where it got so quiet and something moved in the bush, and the mix was all the way on the other side of the theater, and I hadn't experienced that in a long time. So I was like, "Is there gonna be like a fucking puppet or something that comes out of the fucking?" I was like,
really
"What the
making this
fuck
interactive?
is going on?" Like,
It's 4D.
but
With smell-o-vision.
I think also what's important to point out is how I don't know if the film is more well written than the first one, or it's just I already believe the idea, like the concept that they're getting across, like, because I'm here for the sequel, so that's why like it's easier to digest. But I mean, if you guys think it's more well written than the first one, I mean, like, it just comes off that way,
As somebody who has said a lot of negative things about the first one, I was blown away at how much I was invested in the story in this one. I think I could have watched this as a standalone movie virtually. It didn't even need the first one, to be honest.
Well, see, I think that it helps contextualize it because the first one
Absolutely.
did a lot of setting up and like you have the world built. So this one they can focus on different things. Like the first one where it's a lot more focused on the family and keeping the family together and protecting that. This is now, metaphorically and literally expanding out into the world where now it's not just being like we have to protect our family, but it's now about the implication of other people in this existence too.
And
so it just cracked open the entire environment.
riding on the coattails of that, it's also different because I feel like in the last movie it was the story moving the characters, as opposed to where this one it is 100% the characters that are moving the story, and that is way more interesting than whatever was going on in the last movie. But I also think it's important to point out that I still like the characters as much as I did the first time.
Yeah.
Like they're all believable,
like, I can't remember any of the plot points of the first one. I didn't go back and rewatch the first one. I remember it's like family fighting to stay alive with monsters. I didn't remember anything else about it.
This one had a baby.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even remember the baby.
I
went
didn't
to the
remember the
theater
baby either.
and she had the baby. I was like, oh, I forgot about the scenes
When did
in the
that
basement.
happen?
Like I couldn't tell you anything about the first one other than they went to a waterfall and John Krasinski was like, oh, we can kind of talk a little bit more openly.
Ooh. Yeah.
Like that's the only thing I
Owls.
really remember.
Well, I think Pat, that's a really good point that you're bringing up, that this is actually more actor focused and character driven. Because I feel with horror movies, and I don't know if I would flat out call this one a horror movie. I would call it maybe like action thriller. But with horror movies, your characters are responding to the situation. And I think because of it being flipped, it didn't feel like a horror movie to me, and it felt so much more. I felt more invested. I felt more interacted. Like Emily Blunt's performance was phenomenal.
Man, isn't that interesting how the one that's clearly more a horror film doesn't come off like one, but the one that really tried to be a horror film just couldn't do the job?
No. That was that. We'll get there, but I really, really liked Emily Blunt's performance. Like, she had established herself in the beginning, in the first, movie,
right,
as this badass mother. And like she was kind of, at the very end, she established herself as the badass. And I think she has to take over the John Krasinski's role because she was very soft in the first movie. And now she's very, firm and survivalistic, but she's still got that like softness and the gentleness.
I
and the
feel like that's the daughter. I feel like it's Reagan who's going to be the one who takes over for her.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like it's
1,000%.
But until that happens, Emily Blunt had to step up and be the leader of the family.
And you can see that there's falters with it, and like that it's not the cleanest thing. She doesn't really know what she's doing. Where the daughter is like, hell yeah, I'm my dad's daughter.
And even with the I'm sorry, I don't remember most of the characters' names. The son, I really thought they were gonna sideline him and just make him, like, oh, we have this kid, almost like Jennifer in Back to the Future 2, the girlfriend. They were like, well, we have this character, so let's just knock her out and stick her over in the corner. I thought they were gonna sideline him. I was so happy to see his development throughout this movie. His arc was just as good as everyone else.
Well, they set it up to get him out of the way because, like, he's
We'll
and like,
spoilers.
bro, I don't want to go into too many details on that until we do spoilers. But that scene, I was like, whew, fuck, that is rough.
That was like, wow, we're early into the movie. But I mean, Emily Blunt's acting incredible, but also you got to give it up to the kids as well. These kids were. So I believed everything that they were doing. I'm not sure if that actress is actually deaf, but I mean, either or.
She is.
She is. Okay.
You can walk right out to her and be like,
Oh, fuck's sake!
Wouldn't hear you. Not as soon.
There you go. Perfect. She wouldn't hear that I'm telling her how great of an actress she is.
I like how the simple act of communication, enunciate, and I liked how her development from between the two films is that now she actually kind of speaks a little bit. You know what I mean? I do like that. I really, she's fucking oozes charisma, this kid. Like, and she also, she gives disabled individuals a good name. She really does.
It's interesting because you would think that like in a post
Not that they have a bad rap to begin
No.
with.
Yeah, that was a weird.
No,
way to put it.
I'm gonna save it for you. In like a post-apocalyptic situation, you would think that it's like very much any kind of thing that might hurt your chances at survival would be amplified. But it does not.
Yeah.
Like it's
I mean,
that
I
in
felt
this
that
situation is
throughout watching the movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you serious? You're gonna go out and do whatever? You're fucking deaf. Like
but dude, I think that's the point. I think that gives her so much more.
You're rooting for her more than you would if she wasn't.
I
not
like
even that.
I
just
like
think
the
that gives her so much
dynamics
more
that we play
confidence.
with though
Yeah.
too.
She's not constantly worrying about.
She's not afraid.
This made this
She's
noise
not
and this
afraid,
made this
yeah.
level of a noise. Like she knows how to be quiet, but she's also not constantly like being like checked against herself. So I think that's got like
But
blatant confidence.
I
for
also
her.
like the dynamic that it plays with. She's deaf and can't hear, but you shouldn't be making noise anyway. She can't tell how much noise she's making.
Exactly.
But I also
she doesn't know every step she's taking if she's stepping on a loose board or anything like that
Yeah.
in a warehouse.
Also,
she has no idea.
Actually,
she's just
no.
walking
I'll save
around.
it. I'll save it till spoilers. I don't want to
Well,
ruin
we
it.
haven't really even talked about. I also want to say I really loved Cillian Murphy's performance.
Is that how you say his
He-
name? I thought it was.
I don't know.
I thought it was
think some people
Killian.
say Killian. I'm not sure. I say Cillian. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy.
I really a lot of the pain that he was carrying. I really felt it.
And I thought he was
Absolutely.
I thought he was a good in between character, showing like you have the family, then you have like the feral people. I
Yep.
thought he was like dead center for that because like he's kind of feral, but he still has a lot of the familial
Nah,
like,
bro.
pain and
He
all of
fucking
that.
all the way feral, and they, like I said, don't want to spoil it, but they kind of just show you how feral he really is at one part of the fucking movie.
Mhm.
That man is
It's
feral. Okay.
he's just all kinds of messed up, dude. He's got a lot of trauma with that. So
Well,
I think
all right.
there's it's a good. He's a fantastic example for like
So
everything in the film coming together in one character.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like I think his characters was more important rather than just to have that archetype of like the protector type figure.
protector.
He told his own story, and it was like everything was treated with such care and such detail. Even that character, when it could have been generic and bland, and I was getting hardcore Last of Us vibes from
Yup.
that duo, which was great.
Yeah.
I think we said that when we left the theater, Danny. We were like,
We did.
this one
we
was
did.
way more
It felt
Last
very
of
Last
Us
of Us.
than anything else. But so I listen, overall, non-spoilers, if you were to stop listening to the show right here, don't. This is a high recommendation for me. I think this is fucking
yeah.
awesome. Like easily a 10 out of 10. I don't have much to critique, if anything at all. I have some like
No.
I feel kind of the same way with I did with the first one, which was like, yeah, if you think hard enough, the cracks start to form, but also like this movie isn't trying to do anything else more than have a good story, good characters, and a fun creature feature, and it succeeds in
Right.
every
In a-
avenue. Like
Yeah,
A
the first
very
one.
unique world.
I think the first one was more not gimmicky, but it was like where they're introducing things like I'll turn the lights on, and when they're red, you need to come to me. Like it had that kind of like gimmick about it, and then this one was like hell nah, we're gonna.
this
go
was an
forward with
adventure.
It's
It
gonna
was
be
an
action.
adventure film.
I
Action
have
adventure.
I have two critiques, and they're very minor and nitpicky. My number one critique was the monsters are too strong. Like if you're gonna do a horror movie and these things can rip through a fucking train car and rip through buildings, I feel like it's too strong to the point where it's like I'm not even scared of them at this point because you have no chance. But it's a nitpick. And number two is there was points where Cillian Murphy's character shouldn't have been able to understand the deaf character, which like, and that was again, it was like just a minor thing where it's like weird. She's signing at him and he understood what she was saying.
He picked up the gist. I think that was
Yeah.
But what
Minor,
about, like,
minor
what about
things.
what about like Alien and like movies like that, Nick, where it's like the the enemy is so overpowered. Like it's not so much about like a fist fight with them. It's about like the
Wait,
strategy. of it.
have you ever seen Aliens, Burke?
Me?
Not Alien. Have you ever seen Aliens?
I don't think so.
Okay, watch
Great
Aliens,
movie.
and then you'll understand Nick's point. Because
Okay.
Alien, one-on-one with no weapons, you're fucked against a xenomorph. But Aliens, when it was an action movie and it was about all these like space marines like killing fucking aliens, they murked those motherfuckers. Okay,
Yeah,
like
they did.
so. I
It was
think
also
that's
alien.
kind of
It
his,
was it was scientists going up
Right.
against them.
Yeah.
But my one thing with the monsters was I still don't, and we can get into this a little bit more in the spoilers section, but I still don't know what their drive is necessarily, because they're not eating people. Like they're
Right.
not like eating anybody. They're literally just killing them. They're just stomping them on the ground, ripping them apart, throwing them every which way, but they're not eating them. They're not looking
Well,
for them for sustenance. So it's like, what is their purpose?
Interesting. That's a good
That's a
take.
So
piece of life
the
well,
one thing I
like.
was saying I went to see this movie with John Chang Soon, and it's kind of nice that it didn't get too bogged down in the details. And it's like you can go too far one way or the other with details, not enough or too much. It's like, why did they come to Earth? How did they come to Earth? These creatures definitely didn't drive a spaceship, but it's like they gave you enough of an idea with like that smoky. They didn't show a spaceship. They just kind of
Yeah.
showed like a fog arriving.
Whatever was
I was gonna
crap.
get into that.
no, I
spoilers,
thought that was a meteor. I thought they confirmed that in the first movie. It was a meteor.
Well,
that
whatever it
crashed.
was, they give you just enough information for me to feel satisfied. But even though there's still these lingering questions about like what is their intention?
see,
I
I
have
wasn't-
enough info where I don't care about all those other
Yeah,
things.
I feel like it's the Captain America Shield logic I always go back to. If it was a worse movie, I would care about that. But it does so many other things right. It's like if I care about that, I ruin everything else. Like,
Right.
I also
Exactly,
think like if
exactly.
you want to get into that, then you're gonna have to like expand the film, and you're gonna have to go
which they
longer. and
do.
Which
these
it
kind of
probably
Which
winds
they
up being a
do.
worse film.
That's what I'm
if they
saying,
give
like, if
you
it's
more
a-
info, it's
if
not
it's
going
a
to be
2.5 hour film where now we're getting into like what's the drive of these creatures other than just killing.
I'll just say this
Like, do we need it?
before we move on,
Probably not.
because I think it's smart that we move on.
Yep.
This movie doesn't do exposition; it tells stories. It delivers information by telling stories, like by accounts of other real characters. We can get into that in spoilers, but I'm just saying that's a better delivery system of exposition than just saying things out loud, because then my ape brain doesn't notice and I like don't just be like, hey, wait a minute, like in the middle of the movie, you know?
No, that's great. Like they
So-
could have just we'll get into spoilers. now.
Unfortunately,
Well,
we
do you want
watched
to move
another
on?
movie.
Are we doing non-spoilers?
Yeah, we're
of
doing
both?
non-spoilers for both, and then we're gonna do spoilers for both.
Yep.
Okay. Unless you guys want to do spoilers for A Quiet Place.
Yeah, let's get
No,
into Conjuring.
Okay. Okay. okay.
Clearly the better
Okay.
film of the two.
So, Conjuring. I don't know if you guys like the Conjuring movies as much as I do, the first two. I knew going into this that this was not going to be of the same quality of Conjuring 1 and 2. And in all honesty, I really don't think it's that bad.
I went into this, as I try to with many horror movies, with a mindset of I want to be scared. I'm turning off the critical part of my brain right now, and I just want to be scared. And I had a good time watching it. It was a little slow at the end, but overall I enjoyed it. It was like a throwback. It felt like it was a 70s movie. There wasn't a lot of overuse of CGI, like leaned heavily into practical type stuff. I had a good time. I would recommend this film to somebody who just wants to watch a fun horror movie.
Yeah, and that's an important distinction to make, because the guy who directed this directed La Llorona, and La Llorona was bad, like real
La
bad. So
Llorona.
this is actually a huge improvement for this guy as far as his directing goes. And I think that is the film's biggest offense, is that it's not scary at all, but I think it works better as like a murder mystery type of shit than it does
So-
a haunted house movie.
That's kind of like that's like exactly what I was saying. Like I've seen the Conjuring films and the spin-offs and everything, and like Nick's point, I was like overall enjoyable. And kind of like at this point in the series, it better damn well be. Um, but like I think this is the type of film that's like we don't need to be super original. We're gonna focus on how this is executed, how we're doing the story, and how we're laying everything out. Because like I didn't think it was super scary. I didn't think it was like massively compelling, but it was crafted well, and it gave like the audience like those payoff points that I like. But
Danny
this is also not a movie that I would call a horror movie. It's a murder mystery.
Danny, why don't you tell us what you thought?
This movie was fucking cheeks. This was buns. This was a terrible movie. This
Really?
was horrible. I can barely think of a good thing to say. All right, compliment sandwich. Let's go compliment sandwich. One thing I liked about the movie. I liked that the antagonist was, I don't know if this is getting into spoilers. Actually, this is getting more into spoilers, so we won't go there. But the rest, so that's
No
the top of the bun. So you know what? No compliments. This movie sucked. I went in the same way, Nick, where I went in no expectations. My only expectation was to be scared.
And Danny, you saw the last
scared.
two, right? You saw the last two, right?
Well, here's the thing. This is where I could be a little discredited. I did not. I only saw the first Conjuring movie.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
that's the thing.
That's fine.
I did not
That's fine.
see
That's the better
Annabelle.
one,
I did, yeah. I did see the first one, which that one, amazing movie. Well done. I was very scared watching that movie. Absolutely. This one, I wasn't on my
Sing the
off into
song.
space as the movie was going on because it was so boring. It was so boring. There was nothing keeping me in this movie. I wasn't scared at all, not even at once. The scariest part was when the big fat blubbering dude was there. That was the only scary part because that dude in general was just scary.
The one thing that I would
didn't like
say this horror movie has over a lot of other horror movies is that I care about Ed and Lorraine.
But
It's
do
like
you only
hor-
care
Yeah,
about
I was
them
gonna say
because
that
you
too.
know them?
Yes.
Because
I would-
in
Yeah.
this-
If
Alright,
this was an
that's
original
Definitely
film,
stands on the shoulders of the other
yes.
movies.
If this
Right,
was an
that's what I'm
original
saying, that's what
piece
I'm saying.
without Ed and Lorraine and like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, I wouldn't watch this. I wouldn't think it was even halfway decent.
Their acting is what kept the
That's
wards
fair.
together.
That's
the writing
totally
between
fair.
them, horrible.
Horrible.
Well,
Horrible.
it's a little heavy-handed how much it's like we love each other, don't we? We really do.
You
Yeah,
got
and,
this,
like, you don't
babe.
need-
I got your pill.
That's
You
a
also
couple-
don't need
That's
that.
a couple trying to like force themselves to stay
Save-
together.
they're
Like
trying
we
to save
really
that
like
marriage.
each other.
Like,
don't we?
you
Yeah,
also-
we like each other. We really like each other.
You also don't need
go
that
down
though,
there,
because
you're gonna
like
get your dress all dirty.
the first two Conjuring movies established their relationship. You didn't need to like. It's like, oh,
No,
okay, of course, Ed and Lorraine, they love each other so much. Yeah, we get it. Nobody can love as much as Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, no, I wanted it to feel like they should have came in with like a new game plus mentality. Like
Yes,
like
yes.
dead ass. It would have like if they would have
I don't get that reference.
So a new game plus for all the uninitiated is after you beat a video game, you can a new game plus mode where it's just you start the whole game over, but you keep all your upgrades, you keep all your overpowered things, and things just get harder. I wanted them to walk in and her to be like, this is this, you got this one, and he's like, yep, I got it. You know, where it's just I wanted that like the synchronicity
Where she's
of
like
things,
fucking
as opposed to-
fire and lightning at ghosts and shit, like Sith Lords.
Yeah.
Unlimited
Power. Yeah.
I don't need it where he's like, my wife's, gift is not a sideshow and this and that and everything. I just want it to be like, babe, tell him which knife. Like,
That's a
simple
fair
things.
point. Fair point.
It's just
But it felt like one of the spin-offs. It felt like one of the Annabelle movies. Like for it to be in the Conjuring proper trilogy, I don't think it held up to like the
I
first.
think it's important to say that this movie was not written and directed like by James Wan, like the other two
Right.
were, because James Wan's moved on to Aquaman. This one was directed by Michael Chavez, who he directed, like I said, The Curse of La Llorona. That was a movie that James Wan liked, like he got his hands on, and he was just like, I'm just gonna put this in the Conjuring universe, so Warner Brothers let me put it out. It was terrible, but he got handed this. He got handed the Conjuring stuff, and I think James Wan might have produced I'm not sure how he's attached to it. Either way, though, he had no really creative input on the story and direction. And therefore, that is why it is the way it is.
Did anyone have any creative input here? It was not creative at all. It was ass. It
Okay.
was so
Well, that's
bad.
the thing. It doesn't need to. This like it didn't approach it on being an original piece. It didn't approach it on being like, you know, we're gonna do some cool twist on something you've never seen or expected before. Like it was a story that like was based off a true story.
Mhm.
So it's like you can't really write like
It
a
was
ton of stuff and not
the
defending it. Like it was
supernatural-
very rote.
It was the supernatural side of a story that is very well documented. That is like,
Yeah.
I had heard of every single one of these events in these Conjuring movies before the Conjuring movies came about. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
so like, it's obviously it's like amplified and it's, you know, it's obviously fiction. There's no way any of this shit could be
Yeah.
fucking real. Are you kidding me? And obviously it's like toned up and everything, but I just kind of felt like it didn't add anything, where I feel like the other movies, they had some substance to add to some of the theatrics that, I mean, because let's be honest, okay? No matter how much it is real or true and like what happened or what these people witnessed in real life, the Warrens have been accused of being serial liars. You know what I mean? So it just, and if you read the Warrens books, which is what this shit is based on, like, I feel like the other movies kind of elevated that material, whereas this one was just kind of like, here you go. You know, like
That's true. It didn't take like the magical
like
realism.
it just
element that you
fucking
kind of
opened the
expect.
dog food can, slopped it in the bowl, and then slid it under the door. You know, that's what I feel like this Conjuring movie
You
was.
mean open the slot and handed
Yeah.
the holy water?
Yeah, exactly.
With glass holy water.
Yeah, dude. It's weird. I get like if you want to introduce a new director and a writer to like change things up, but maybe again not in the main trilogy, or don't do it in this way. Like try to at least do more of an homage to like the first two films when this was clearly a big pivot.
This was its own thing, yeah. So before we get into spoilers, little numbers here that I just wanted to bring up to you guys.
Pat, facts, Pat.
Numbers?
facts.
Or
Yeah,
hat
numbers.
facts?
No, these are numbers, and these might help gauge where the public is with these movies. So, mind you, A Quiet Place opened up over a 4-day weekend. This opened up over a 2-day weekend.
And on a streaming platform.
And on a streaming service. Look at this fucking face right here. Look at this. and on a streaming service, but also it's been out for a week before, you know, so keep that in mind as I read these to you. So, right off the bat, A Quiet Place Part 2, its budget was $61 million. Altogether so far, it's made 137, which is pretty good.
There you go.
Not
Great
bad.
ROI.
Domestic,
2-1 right now.
domestically, I believe over the weekend when it opened, it made $57 million. So that's pretty fucking good for
Not
for a
bad.
horror film.
Pretty good numbers.
The
All things
Conjuring 3,
considering,
the devil made me do it. Like I said, smaller window for release. Its budget was $39 million. Okay, so it was made for half the money that
Dude, that's it?
that other one was. Whatever the other movie we're talking about is, the
Quiet
Deaf Monster.
Place.
There we go. That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say like something like Help, I'm Deaf.
Monster.
Yeah, Deaf Monsters.
The Office Horror Edition.
Altogether,
Halloween special.
Altogether, though, it's already made $57 million. So it is profitable. That means we're going to get another one. And domestically, just over the weekend, just in 2 days, it made $24 million. So, you know, it's good. It's doing
Okay.
well. Okay. It's doing
Wow.
well. Fans obviously seem to like it. Critics seem to like it. Everybody loves Quiet. Critics don't love it. They like it. They think it's just okay. So,
The Conjuring 3?
yes. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so before we get into spoilers, the conversation I want to have now is The Conjuring 3 is the it's pretty much, it's what happens when you have a director who's brand new. He's a brand new director, brand new writer, and he's taking over the series from the original writer and director. Now, they left, a little bit of spoiler right here. They left A Quiet Place 2 open for a sequel, obviously. John Krasinski,
right? There's going to be a part 3.
Yes, John Krasinski is not directing though. He is he is not writing either. But he plotted out the story and he's giving it to somebody else.
Do we know who that somebody else?
There is a name attached. I can't think of it. Dude, he just wants to do other shit. Like that's all.
The Office, the movie.
But basically what that says to me is that, like, immediately there's going to be a dip in, I always see it as a dip in quality, or we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, just look at the Harry Potter series.
Jeff Nichols.
Jeff
Nichols is writing and
directing.
But
I think what's important to the distinction here is that the story is based off of John Krasinski, but I even heard from other people I've talked about this with, they're like, what's the point of these movies if John Krasinski's not directing them?
True. Well, I
kind of feel that way. I do kind of feel that way.
Now that you've gotten us this far, I'm invested in the characters. I'm willing to lose Krasinski at this point.
Because he's not. This is not a spoiler. The end of the first movie, he dies. So it's like you're not in it. You're not acting. You were just in it in the very beginning of this film as like both a throwback and to be like, so they can show some shots with John Krasinski and like trailers and shit.
I think you said like, I'm going to see whatever comes out next. Like I'm going to see it and I'm going to see how they try to wrap it up.
100%.
But I just hate when directors are like, yeah, I did this thing. It's really successful. I came back for the sequel because they basically like forced me to, which means like they offered you a lot of money. And then you got everyone like obviously you made something you cared about because it's really fucking good. So why not just finish it out? Just stick around and go for round 3,
I think both the first and this movie had satisfying endings, and I don't need another movie. Like the first movie, they could have ended it there and it would have been fine. I usually am pretty like anti-sequel or anti-cinematic universe for stuff like this. They really had a home run with the second movie. I don't need a third one. I hope the third one can do the same
I feel
thing
exactly
this
opposite. I feel like we absolutely need a third one after that fucking ending.
Absolutely.
I'm on Nick's side. I want to hear Danny's.
So that being said, things are looking good for these movies. Let's move on to spoilers, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's move on to spoilers for here. All right. So anything goes. Spoilers. We were talking about the ending, but let's talk about other stuff, and then we'll talk about the ending.
Okay.
So
do you want to start with let's start with Conjuring and then move back into Quiet Place.
All right. Okay. That's fine.
Sandwich it.
All right. So
that compliment sandwich.
Conjuring. I didn't understand why we were going after a human. I thought the whole point was to beat up ghosts in these movies.
Spooky human.
So that's the thing that I actually almost kind of liked about it, was the fact that the antagonist was actually a person and not just some random demon that just happened to get trapped. She called upon a demon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She's the one who conjured the demon.
She's the catalyst.
It's a cool twist.
She's the catalyst.
It's for sure a cool twist. It's just like, I was so not expecting that. I was just like, wait a minute. That's not a demon lady. She's a real lady and she's using like magic and shit. I was like, what the fuck?
And I think that's the point. That's the point, because now we're fighting her magic, her black magic, with the magic of the Lord that Vera, her black lady has. So it's basically now we're fighting good magic with bad magic. And so I kind of like that as a twist. You don't often get horror movies where, especially movies like this, where you get actual person antagonist. Do I think they did a good job? No. But I was kind of like, I wasn't expecting that. That's a little bit different.
I just think it's like the whole pretext and the whole concept of why this woman is who she is dumb. Like I thought everything
they didn't even need any of that.
They didn't need any of that. She could have just been, a weird evil wicked lady, and they could have just that's the thing. They established that evil and demons exist in this world, and for no other reason than existing because they're bad.
All
Like,
right.
so you don't need to do this whole weird like thing with the priest and the daughter and like that
Agreed.
element. Like that was just like shoving 5 pounds.
I
I
of
think
shit
that a lot of
know?
that felt like too they were trying to they wanted to trick you into thinking, oh, father so and so, he's the bad guy, he's pulling all the strings, just so they could pull the rug out under you and be like, no, it's his daughter. Like, come on, man, like you don't have to trick us, and it could still be a twist ending, and you don't have to like trick
pretty
us.
much, yeah, lie to us. So actually, just to get like really specific, I think there are some well-crafted scares in this movie to some degree. Like as far as like setup and delivery goes, I wasn't like, oh shit, or I wasn't like disturbed by anything of that nature. The one scare though that is fucking sick is the murder scene where like what
yep.
he's seeing, and then like the part where like this motherfucker grows, you know, like, and he becomes that monster thing. And then I think it's like you see the red door blink and then blink when he's on the ground, and then the dude runs out at him and he stabs the shit out of him. That was excellent. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, and that was early on in the movie. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. All right. We're doing this. I was like, this isn't going to be awful. And then it just plateaued after that. It was never any worse,
That's a great
but it was
point.
never got any better. It was just like, we're
Well,
just going
I
to go
thought
from point
the
A to
one
point
other
B. And
time-
if you're having a good time, thanks. You know,
The one other time is when they're in the funeral home and the fat guy, the first time the fat guy
Yeah.
shows up, I thought that was also extremely powerful because
Oh,
I cared about
yes.
Lorraine and I felt like I was in Ed's shoes. Like, get the fuck out of there. We gotta
Yeah.
go.
dude, I
That's the
love
thing, like,
the
I think-
fact when they started running at each other. The scenes like, dun, 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 you know, like,
That was cool. I like it's interesting. It's like when you're trying to make, for me personally, it's like when you're making demons and you're making these like weird otherworldly creatures, the main antagonist, like there has to be some weird, like I need weird, creepy, like unsettling moments with them for it to be a good horror movie with that. Like this is a weird, like I don't know what's gonna happen. I need some like I need a bit more like body horror and like body gore and stuff like
True.
that. Like there was a lot of like, you know, them like creaking and cracking and, you know, bending backwards and whatever, but like I don't know, maybe
those,
it's just
those
like that I'm
boys
super
like
used
to creak and crack. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
A little tiny baby Stephen
baby.
King.
So
Yeah,
um,
maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm like too used to like the Exorcist style of like demonic possession movies.
Speaking
But like
of
that's
which,
what I want.
can we talk about how
great
they
was
use
that, like that reference shot to The Exorcist when he
Yes.
first shows up?
Yeah,
Like,
I remember.
I was like, ooh, we're back in the 70s
I remember
now.
that shot happened, and I was just like, I don't know if this is an homage, or this director thinks we all forgot.
It's
But-
definitely an homage.
Yeah. And then he's like, forgot what? Okay, so can we talk about how this series has used the same fucking scare over and over again in almost every movie? It's where they see something down the hall, and they're like, and here we'll do it subject A, subject B. Subject B is down the hall. Subject A says, "Hey, subject B," and subject B either has a jovial hello and starts running towards them, or has no response and
and
maliciously creaks and cricks, or no, straight up runs at them, right? And then it's like the one Annabelle movie, it was like it was like, you remember, it was like the little girl across the hall, and then she ran, and like when she fucking hit the door, she was the crazy bitch with the knife. This movie, it was Lorraine, and she runs up to him, and then he goes under the light, and she turns in. Yeah, exactly. I liked everybody. Yeah, okay. So
we all knew where that was going.
And then what was there's another one where they do it. That scare happens in every single one of these movies, and I am fucking tired of seeing it.
Me, I don't mind that it, like, there's repetitive type scares. What I like about it is, and maybe I'm wrong here, it didn't feel like it leaned too heavily into CGI stuff. It was, a lot of it was super practical, and I like that in like a quaint horror movie. It's like it was all
Especially like
achieved
a
with just
throwback.
camera tricks.
like a period piece kind of movie
Yep.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything except when Lorraine was hanging off the cliff. That looked like shit. That looked pretty brutal. However, in terms of the horror effects, yeah, no, it was all pretty practical.
Yo, I don't like how they gave Ed a heart condition to build tension, and because I'm sitting there like, fucking really? Like,
I'm wondering, did Ed actually in real life have a heart
yeah,
condition?
I believe
Was
he
that-
did.
sure
I
he-
believe
I'm
he
sure-
did. I
I'm
believe
sure
he
he
did.
did. It was-
I mean, if you see him in real life, he was a
Look
big
at
fat
him.
guy.
Yeah,
like,
I
Exactly.
believe he
Yeah.
did.
Look
I
at him.
don't.
He had
I
a heart
don't.
problem.
I don't think.
he was a Tom in
Yeah.
either a Tom Naparano or a Tom Haberstroh. Like he was one of
He was one of those.
He's in
That's
good
what he looked
company.
like.
yeah.
He looked like one of the Toms. But
yeah, I mean, like the thing is, it didn't enable him, or it didn't like hold him back as
Disable.
much as it did not disable him. Like if you're gonna put that in there and be like, oh, he's got this and he forgot his pills and all of that, like there was no tension around that
Right.
other than like him
It was just for the
taking
reveal.
one breath on the tree.
It
Like-
was just so Lorraine could be like, "Don't worry, I thought about you. I brought
I
your
got you,
pill."
babe.
It would have been funny if instead of opening her locket, she opened up one of those like Monday through Friday pill things. And it was just like, I got your
actually,
pill.
Bright
you know
orange.
what? I picked up my prescription today, and I want to talk about that. Do Hollywood producers not know how
Change the
pills
subject.
are taken? You don't
Without water.
take a pill, and then immediately it works.
Well, nitroglycerin does that when you do like sublingually like that. That's a
When it goes under the tongue, that's like
Yeah.
that's like quick release. I think that was the point.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought he stuck it up his butt.
Yeah, I thought he did it rectally.
Now that
Yeah.
would be a scene they should include. Imagine she opens up
Lorraine's
the locket,
like, bend over.
bend over.
The ride!
Spread those hairy, fat, cane holding ass cheeks.
Yo, I like the point. I like the part where he used the fucking cross and was trying to hurt that demon, and really it was Lorraine. You know, when he went crazy, like he was the
Yeah,
other
he had the
person
light.
they cursed.
So do you like or do you not like the old switcheroo?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Because you said you didn't like that they keep reusing the hallway, the
Yeah.
subject A, subject B thing, but that's exactly what that is.
I mean, it kind of is and it isn't, because like I feel like in that instance it was more like it turned into like this weird action scene where Ed was like fighting a ghost, and he started using the cross, and then was
The
he gonna
power of
stab it?
Christ.
How was he gonna kill it?
he had a knife technically. in his
Oh,
hand.
that's right. Yeah, and then he
But
snapped
we
out
don't
of
see
it.
that it's a knife. We thought that was the what do you call it? Her rosary.
Yeah, I thought
That's
the
what he
totem.
saw it as.
I thought the totem reveal was really kind of lame. When they were like, "When did we get flowers?" And there was just
Yeah.
one set of flowers, and they were dead as shit. And I was just like, "But like, why? Like, are they fake flowers, or would this person only buy cheap flowers that would die quicker?"
No, I think it was the
No, it was
thing,
the
the actual
totem
thing
had
killed
killed
the
the
flowers.
flowers.
Oh,
It's
okay,
evil
Yeah.
energy.
right,
yeah, no,
right.
that's why they were good when they just got here, and it's like okay, but
I feel like Ed's temper tantrum when he's trying to find the totem remind me of that Dane Cook bit when you have an argument with your spouse and you're just like trying to find them in the house afterwards, and he's like tearing apart the whole place, and he's like, "Where are you? Where is he?" He's like, "Dad, is a pantry." Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just tearing everything up, and then they see the flowers. But
I
okay,
didn't
yeah,
get what he
I
was
think
doing. I didn't get that he was looking for the totem.
You
Well,
didn't
I
get
had
that?
no idea. I had no idea what the
I
hell he
think
was
he
looking for.
said. I think he said that. He said it was in the Maybe. house or something like that.
He was
I feel
all
I
like-
remember that.
Here.
He said she's been in the house,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, well, is he like looking for a gun? Like, what did we really piss him
To-
off? And he's
I
just
mean,
going for it. Like,
Mike,
I'm a killer.
I'm gonna say I feel like they set it up enough, like with the
They probably
first
did,
two,
yeah.
the first two people who were cursed, where it was like, oh, there's this whatever the fuck that thing is, like the deer skull. They
Yeah.
each had one, so I was right on board. The thing that I thought was kind of like lame was all the stuff in the prison hospital. Like I thought
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that really dragged and could have been a lot snappier.
that's one of the notes I had for it. I said the storylines, while they are like one affects the other, they just were not blended well enough that it just seemed very split. And it was almost kind of like at this point, you're not even worried about Arnie anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
like now that
True.
it's gonna be
I mean,
Ed.
I knew that guy was
My-
doing time the entire movie. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, this
It's
is
like
all
he's
for
not getting
naught.
off.
Death penalty.
That's
doing
true.
it
My-
at
my-
the
My favorite part was when after, Artie is like floating in the air and everything, and then everything's going on with the witch, and then they eventually, kill the witch, and then Artie is fine. I kept thinking the whole time, like, that priest really thought he did something right
Yeah, I
there.
was thinking
Like
that
that
too. I
priest
was
really
waiting for him
thought
to be
that
like
he
all
solved
proud
it.
of himself.
Just like, that's right,
I
power
just-
of God,
See,
bitches.
my
I just
thought
think
was
it's
that
kind of
like,
funny
how the
how
fuck-
like all of that happens, right? Like all of that shit happens, and no one like told
is
the
there to
judge
testify?
for the judge
Yeah.
to be like, hey,
Yeah, the
can we
woman
reconsider?
sitting in that
reconsider?
room, like watching the entire
Dude,
thing.
that
Yeah.
was
You
my
see
one
guards on the
thing.
other side, just like this.
Trying to get in. I was like, none of them came to the trial and were like, that bitch is possessed. He didn't do anything. I saw him float. Do not put
And-
him in my
Yeah.
jail.
And
Like,
I don't. Okay, so these movies are all about like the exploits of Ed and Lorraine Warren, pretty much, like just like totally exaggerated, right? What I will say is this though, is that this what was I gonna say? God damn it! I fucking go on. I lost it. Go on
Pat's
without me.
drinking again.
I wrote it
We're all-
down.
We're all getting older.
Yeah.
All right,
I
do we
don't
want
know.
to?
It was overall, like, there also
It was-
wasn't like a ton to spoil. Like,
You're getting the
just the
same
whole-
shit that you got in every
that's
other
what it was.
Conjuring movie.
The movies are
There we
about
go.
the
I bought
exploits of
enough
Ed
time.
and Lorraine. Yeah, they're about the exploits of Ed and Lorraine Warren, but they frame it like their case that they built only got him 5 years. No, not what happened. He was actually sentenced to 20 years, and he only served 5 for good behavior. Okay, for
okay.
manslaughter. For manslaughter.
makes sense.
I will say one of the best moments in the whole movie for me was when Ed and Lorraine were like, "You come to our house for dinner, and we'll show you what we got, and then you'll see." And then it immediately cuts to her in court being like, "Yeah, he's possessed."
And her,
That was
her
like-
face was so good in that. Her face was like,
Yep.
yeah, no, don't demonic possession.
that was like some of the best editing, like that quick
Yeah.
editing.
I
that-
will
like
say,
Edgar
actually,
Wright did it.
Before we move back over to A Quiet Place, I did like how they kind of expanded on the demonology in this. I like how they specified how these demons were being used for curses, as opposed to like a demon like being a host to something. I
Right.
really loved how in the opening sequence they had an exorcism just kind of like happening to an 8-year-old boy, and it jumped over, you know what I mean, and it went to somebody else. That was that was all brand new stuff that they did in this universe, and that's the stuff I like. I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to continue to do that, though. You know what I mean?
Is there supposed to be more Conjuring? Like, are these actors locked in for more movies? Do we know?
I would not be surprised. Let's put it like that. I think it also depends on if James Wan comes back, because
I feel like if I was Patrick Wilson, I'd be ready to move on.
Also, he's old now. Like,
so is
Like, if
Ed
you look
Warren.
no, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if you look at them in the first movie, I guess you could do it that way. It's like just do later cases by the Warrens. and
Yeah.
then logically makes sense that they physically look older.
It doesn't have to even fit perfectly into the real
I
timeline.
think it doesn't
You could
need
fit it into what it, but I mean, as an actor, like either of them,
You
like
think
Ed
that they're
or
just
Lorraine,
done
the
it,
actors,
yeah.
I feel like I'd be so ready to move
it
on
doesn't
to
need
something else.
It doesn't even need to be excuse me. It doesn't even need to be based on a
Those
case. Just
people.
do something else and use Ed and Lorraine. There you go. And
True.
Yeah,
and
True. It is probably like a nice, safe paycheck, though. Every couple of years, check
dude,
in with
I
the franchise.
I also believe it depends on if
Absolutely.
James Wan comes back, because the reason James
Yep.
Wan didn't do this one is his new horror franchise debuts in theaters and
Trench.
and HBO Max in September. Yeah, The Trench. And he's directing the Aquaman films now too, which Patrick Wilson is in that shit too. So like I said,
There you
it
go.
totally depends on James Wan. James
Are
Wan.
there more of those? Are there going to be more Aquamen?
Yeah.
Aquaman.
There's some.
God.
Aquamen.
You know,
There's multiple Aquamen.
I feel like they're
Aquaman?
trying to wait and see what happens with what's her face?
Shazam.
No,
Oh, Amber Heard.
yeah, there you go. That's the one. Pretty Lady.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Yeah, I
Pretty
feel like
lady
they're
with,
gonna wait on that one and see what
Yeah,
happens.
they're really pinning the whole franchise on Amber.
Well, Hey, listen.
I'd
Earlier,
love to see. You know, it'd be great. They just write that character out, and then they have like Aquaman, and then fucking Johnny Depp sails by as Captain Jack Sparrow. I'd love to see the franchise turn that way.
That would be really funny.
I heard a rumor earlier in the year. It's already been debunked, but they said that Amelia Clarke was gonna replace her for Aquaman. I was like, well, that's you know what? Honestly, it's pretty interchangeable. Yeah, really. Like
That's
it's
a good
interchangeable. Like it's not like that character's so amazing that it's like it needs to be her. You know what I mean?
She's no Terrence Howard.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Speaking of Terrence Howard, let's talk about the ending of A Quiet Place Part 2. Listen, if you like the Conjuring movies, watch The Conjuring 3. If you don't, watch The Conjuring 1 and 2. That's where I'm at.
The first one
Conjuring
and really
1,
leave it
great.
at that.
Yeah, pretty much. So A Quiet Place Part 2. Let's talk spoilers. Shoes or no shoes? What are we doing these days, guys? How come she's got no shoes and he's got shoes? Okay.
How
He's got
come
shoes. He's got boots.
everybody's feet or legs got injured in this movie?
Well, here, Pat, I think it's a big thing. I think it's their family, their main family does not wear shoes, and I think it comes from John Krasinski's character being super overly cautious and him setting up things in this very insular, family-driven world, kind of like that's what it is. It's kind of like this is the rules that we live by. This is what it is, and that's why the other dude who doesn't wear shoes, like there's a lot of shots with the feet, with the things like that.
Well,
so it's kind of breaking that.
I actually kind of thought of it
And
in the
his
sense of
family
like
died.
I also
Yeah.
think of it in the sense of like they don't have shoes because like how these motherfuckers supposed to get shoes for all these growing kids?
If she can walk in,
You know what
she
I'm
can
saying?
get,
Like,
if-
you know
if
how
she can walk to the
expensive
pharmacy,
6 pairs of Air Jordans are, Burke, in the apocalypse? Okay.
I think
$0.
yeah, $0
You
is
go
right.
to Dick's.
I think it has to
just
do with
clean house.
yeah. I really think it has to do with it. Just sets up like it would have to me if like she put on shoes at the end of the movie or something like that would have been more metaphorical or some kind of thing. But I think it definitely has to do with like this is their family. This is
I
the
feel
rules,
like
this
it's
is
a
how-
general
Yeah.
oversight. I feel like it's just like, yeah, don't wear shoes like they did. That's what they did on the
But
day.
Listen.
there's so much
No,
focus
it's
on
purposeful.
it. Like
It's
Yeah.
purposeful.
Why is there-
There's a
but
lot
also-
of focus on their feet.
because you can choose to like step super softly, and it was a thing in the first one where she steps on the nail, like going downstairs. So it's like it plays into the universe.
Well,
and, like,
no,
their
I was
characters.
talking. The little girl doesn't have shoes on the whole movie.
No
but
one has
Emmett-
any
no.
of the family.
Yeah, they don't have
None of
shoes,
them.
but Emmett has shoes on the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and-
It's
and his
because John
family is
Krasinski's
dead.
influence. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's
John
his-
Krasinski did all these things that made it so like we're not going to wear shoes. We have these sand trails because sand is quieter to walk on than
Right.
gravel. Like those kind of elements of it.
I feel like they didn't sacrifice any of the rules of the first one to make any bigger scares. I feel like it was like, all right, the same level of protection as far as making noise goes. I love the idea that they can't swim. And so like island nations are pretty much like what thrives now, you know what I mean? I like all the ideas I feel like they introduced in this movie were like
And
just
that also
perfect.
it didn't feel like, a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing either.
Right.
I love
Like,
the
I
way
think
they
Because
explain.
the boat floated over. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, these people have been living happily. All of a sudden, one of them is stuck on a boat and it just finds its way over to the island. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, now these people got to deal with it.
I will say-
it was a natural way to introduce these people to that island or these creatures to that island.
I realize it's visual storytelling, but it's also kind of telegraphing just a little bit, where the one fell into the water and started drowning, and the other one was on the boat, and as it's floating out to where it can't jump off, it starts freaking out, and I was just like, oh, they can't swim. That's why there's people. I was like, oh, okay. And then as it's floating out on the boat, I was like, that's gonna show up later. I go, that's
Oh, yeah.
Chekhov's gun. That's it right there. You just saw it.
Well, there was a lot of things in the movie that were Chekhov's guns, and it's like after watching what what movie did we watch last time where there was like
Army of the Dead.
nothing paid off?
Army
of the Dead, where nothing paid off. It was nice to see a movie where it's like they set something up and then they knocked it
And
down.
it happened, and I'm happy about it.
Lining them up,
Good.
knocking them down.
I will say, to go back, kind of backtracking back to the beginning of the film, the son's acting when he gets bear trapped was so.
Dude,
I felt that
Cringe.
Gizzard,
Cringe.
his
That
acting
hurt.
was incredible.
And
the
especially
fact,
where Emily Blunt is just like obviously she knows her son is in pain, but she has to like throttle that, like, I have to be nurturing, but like, dude, shut the hell up. You're gonna bring the goddamn monster here.
That's
So like,
why
I know it hurts. But
Mhm. It was so it was so sympathetic, and you really felt, because she's like, well, that's the thing too. Also, I feel it's a throwback from when she put the nail through her foot in the first movie, that it's like, you know, she like, and then her giving birth to a goddamn baby. But so it's like it's so interesting. It's really cool that I think they did a lot of like tying threads. They had this here, they had that there. It was like a lot of callbacks and a lot of things and character development in a way that it wasn't just like, remember we did this in the first movie? I'm going to do it again because it got big, you know, talk
The
about or
most
whatever.
well-written exposition I have ever seen. We lost Danny, by the way. Are you there?
Danny?
No, I think
He's kind of
we
He's
lost.
in and out.
Yeah, I think we lost him. So
I'm here.
the best. Yeah, no, I don't have it.
Please don't leave.
Please don't leave me. The most well-written exposition of the entire movie is when the one guy on the island tells the story of the boats. When
That was
he
the one time
says
we were handed a little bit of like, you know,
when he says, like, you know, there was once people found out they couldn't swim. We what's it called? They started National Guard, like started pulling in the boats.
We lined up like 12 boats.
Yeah, he's like, and there was 12 boats set to launch that day, and only 2 of them made it out. I was like, damn, I would love to see if that's how they start the next movie. That would be wonderful, is seeing that scene, because I feel
that's
like
a good point.
I feel like the prequel stuff that happens in this movie that's awesome. I was like, yes, the carnage of the first day. Let's see it. Like I always feel like the day of the outbreak or the day of the invasion or the whatever, right? In these types of movies, I always feel like your movie can live and die almost by that sequence. And this one did not disappoint at all. I was like, this is fucking good.
Just to I don't want to make this whole big deal, but do you actually say his name Digimon, or the guy who was talking about the boats?
Oh, I don't know his name.
I don't know his name, but
all right. So his
I
first
just know
name is
he's in
spelled
a lot.
Dijimon. So I call him Digimon. So he originally was supposed to be, that character was supposed to be cast by Brian Tyree Henry, who is from Atlanta, and he's going to be in the Eternals.
He was also in Godzilla.
So exactly. So I feel like that actor would have been so much better for the role, because when I saw Digimon Hansu, I was like, what are you doing here in this universe? I was so taken aback by him, just the actor himself. Where I feel like Brian Tyree Henry has like more of just like an everyman quality to him. But like it was just like so exhilarating to watch, to watch him there. What's up there, Danny?
Are you good?
I didn't mean to raise my hand. Am I still out? Am I here?
I don't know.
You're kind of here.
You're in and out is the best way to put it.
I actually liked
Right.
I liked the gravitas that he brought to that element of it. And I also like, because I feel if you put like, not that the other dude's goofy, but he's a little bit goofy. He's more of an everyman. Well, I kind of liked like that you got the exposition from him talking about like a cataclysmic event of only a sixth of the boats ended up coming through. Like I felt it was good. You get like he's wearing like a nice knit sweater. You get like an old man in the sea kind of vibe out of it. Like,
And everybody's
it has
just
to
on
do
that
with, like,
island, like
my relationship with that actor rather than so him being in there kind of took me out of it, whereas a lot of the other actors didn't.
He
Gotcha.
just has this like quality of like a wise older leader. Like he just
Yeah.
has this like Burke said it. He has gravitas. Like he was perfectly cast for that role.
all right. So overall, Quiet Place Part 2 is awesome, and everybody should check it out. As a matter, like, and specifically in theaters, because it's meant to be seen in a theater or to be seen on a sick like surround sound. Unfortunately, it's going to Paramount Plus, you know, and who the fuck has that?
I have
Can I-
Paramount Plus.
Do you
Can I-
really?
can I-
Why do you always have all the
Really?
weird streaming services?
Alexis watches RuPaul's Drag Race, and that's where you can watch it.
Ah.
Got it.
Go.
Nick, you're
Can
gonna
I-
have
can
to
I
slide it.
say- Can I
Yeah.
say one final point on the Quiet Place before
Well,
we?
I was just gonna say that for A Quiet Place Part 2, the one thing that I think we need to talk about before that is the fucking body. Like you have so much empathy for this character Emmett, yet he has the corpse of his recently deceased wife.
Just
Because
rotting.
he's fucked up in the head. It clearly messed him up. He failed, and he constantly says or whatever, you know, I feel like I could have done more. Like that's the whole drive why he goes out to save the daughter.
Well, not only that, what I thought was the most profound thing of all was when they hear over the radio broadcast the like Beyond the Sea, and he always just wrote it off, whereas this family figured it out. It's like he's dealing with this. Had I only just took a second to think about it, I could have saved my wife, but I
And
didn't.
the
I just
deaf
wrote it
girl
off.
figured it out.
Yep.
The
So like
deaf
he's dealing with
character
this
figured out what
regret.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
I
body was fucked up though. But go on, Burke, and then
That was
we'll
weird.
move on.
So I think the very end of the film was a super cool kind of concept and super cool like, you know, throwback to the first one. Where in the very beginning of the end of the first film, you have Emily Blunt's character shoot the thing and kill it. And this one ends with both of the children killing the monsters. So it's like now it's kind of like I took it at least as like a metaphor for things are changing and things are going to get better. Because now it's not about survival. Now they're on the offense and they know what to do. And you're also having the children, like the future generation, do it. So
Also, the
I'm
radio
interested
wave
to see-
concept is amazing. I
Yeah.
was like, how,
Yeah.
and you know, like this is like I said, Captain America shield logic. I'm
Well,
not.
you know they already did this in Mars Attacks.
that's true.
I'm not.
That's very true.
And what a film.
And what a film it was. And I'm not upset by the fact that it's like you're really telling me the United States military didn't figure out this before anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
that's
it's
what
not
took me out.
it's not that. Like I can't allow it to be that because then it null and voids the whole thing and there's just too many strong elements here. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And but I do like where they're going and I want to see a part 3. I just wish it was going to be Krasinski.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't like from that ending. I don't need a part 3.
Yeah,
And
I already
I
know where
like-
things
well,
are going.
My feeling is with the part 3, I feel like it was set up not so much with the ending, it was set up in the beginning why we would want a part 3 because all of a sudden you see this big meteorite come down and that's your jumping off point for a part 3 is now all of a sudden we've got to learn a little bit more about what I think the next one, if we learn a little bit more, it'll come from, some military guy will be like, they came
But-
from space.
Yeah, and
we
who
don't
the
know
fuck
much about
cares?
it,
But, like,
And
blah,
who
blah, blah.
fucking
Do we
cares
need
if
to
I
learn
already
more?
know what's gonna happen? I want
But, like,
Does
that's
it,
the
does
thing.
it
see
add
it.
value to
I
this
want
story?
to see
It
it.
doesn't
I think-
add anything. You have the movie ending on a uplifting, things are changing, future generation note. You know where it's gonna go.
I hope the third one is better than these first two, just so I can watch you eat your words in 2 years.
Dude, I would love
Mhm, exactly.
love to eat my
Mhm.
words if I get to get another
Danny and I
movie
will
that's
go
good
again.
or better.
Except next time we won't
We're-
go with John because he wouldn't shut the fuck up the whole movie.
That's a shout out, John.
Yeah, shout out to
Did
John
you
Mahano
listen, John?
fucking talking the whole movie. And I finally was just like, John, shut the fuck up. And he just goes out loud where people could hear. He just goes, fuck you, bitch, like that, out loud in the movie. I'm like, do you know where we are? It's like, I don't give a fuck.
buddy.
But you gotta admit, that's
A
the most John
movie.
response you could
It is.
possibly
It was
get.
the most John response. I don't know what else I was expecting, if I'm honest. But, so all that being said, Quiet Place 2, we all recommend it. 10 out of 10. Awesome.
Despite no Ben Affleck dick, I think it gets 5 stars.
I think it's perfect. I think it's awesome.
I mean,
That's high-
it's no
that's high
Conjuring
praise.
3, but
Is anything, Nick? Is anything?
Okay, let's do this.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
All right, let's see it. Okay.
Oh, no.
I already don't like the
Oh,
way this
hell yeah.
looks. I already.
this is by your choice. You guys voted for this.
We did. We picked this
I'm
version.
fully
what were the
aware
options you gave
of-
us, Nick?
What's going on here?
Crazy, shocking, or stupid vehicular stuff.
Let's
And we
see
And I
it.
Stupid
love
vehicular,
stupid
right?
vehicular stuff.
Here we go. Let's do it. Is there any sound? Oh. Is there any sound on this?
I
Oh,
don't
smack
remember.
that car. Yo, give this guy. Someone better draft him in the NFL. Oh, the shirt.
Oh, the shirt comes off.
Oh, he's
that
throwing
one was
a rock.
holding him back. Oh,
no,
no.
no, no.
Oh no. Oh no.
You better go. You better get him this time. He threw a rock at your car, bro. You better get his ass.
I'm convinced if
Yo.
he jumped, he could clear that car.
Wait.
Note that the
like-
back windshield is missing the entire time.
Well,
'cause I think he hit it with a rock.
This is this dude who's in the street like juking an Audi.
Yeah, for anyone listening, I don't know what type of Audi that is, but it's a hatchback. All right, so let's go
The
to the beginning.
hatchback Audi. But
So-
Oh, see, it just starts.
His car.
No, because somebody else drives it, like moves it forward.
You guys realize this is attempted murder, right? Trying to hit someone with a vehicle is attempted murder.
Yeah.
yeah, I love that he pops his shirt off before he like picks up the rock, pops his shirt off, throws the rock. He's like,
I like how
need
he
holding
popped
it
his
back
shirt off
to be
to
in the
fight
show.
a car. You know, like I don't think it makes a difference.
It was holding him back.
Like,
You
I
need
don't
to
think
be
it makes
more
a difference.
Into the woods he goes.
Dude, I get it. I completely get it. It's just like, yeah, the shirt's holding
Where's
him back.
where's the one? There's one where he really goes for him. No, it's not this one. Hold on.
No,
I think it's
I
like
think
the
it is
second
this
term. Let's see.
So yeah, this
It was
car
close.
is just swerving, trying to hit this dude.
Why wouldn't this guy just get out and fight him?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean,
Why-
he's
why
doing
would you
pretty
still
well
try and-
against a car. So like, you know, he probably would destroy another human. Like, look at
The
this.
guy
He ran.
is clearly. Oh, that was a close one.
That right there,
was
that's
a
the
close
turn.
one. But the guy is
he's
clearly.
doing this like a matador. Like you don't
Yeah,
have to
clearly
run
much.
across the street. Like
He's
you could
clearly
just
very
focus-
nimble.
You could just focus on staying behind the car. It's a
Yeah, this
hatchback.
is
It does not
is
turn on a
Parisi
dime.
speed school conditioning right here
Yeah,
for
that's a
sure.
good point. Like you could just like stay close to the rear of the vehicle and be pretty safe.
Unless he puts
Yeah.
it in reverse.
But like here, watch this point right now. It's like I'm gonna run directly at the car.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yep.
Ooh,
close
that
call.
was fucking close. That is. Let's get a.
That almost clipped his hammy.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Clipped his hammy.
Oh, here it is. Hold on. Right there.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah.
That is
There it is.
close.
There it is. Oh, it gets closer. It gets closer.
Ooh.
Oh, look at
That's
that.
close as
Look at
well.
that.
Let's
That's
tap
about
that
6
ass.
inches
Oh
right there.
man. Well, thank God it wasn't anything this week that like someone get mutilated or something. I needed a fucking break.
I needed this to end on an easy note.
Yeah, I needed this to end on a good note for all of us. So yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, boys, next week next week I think might be the final show in this environment, you know?
In this
Oh.
digital age.
In this
of
digital
Skype.
age. So I
Skype
guess
age.
right before we end, is there anything that you guys are going to miss about being remote?
I will miss being able to be like, show's done. Discord. What are we playing, boys?
Yeah.
Not having to
Yeah,
involve my car in the
miss just being able to
podcast.
go and sit on I'll miss just being able to go and sit on my couch right afterwards.
Yeah.
You can't do
Have
that
a
now,
nice
though,
glass
Danny.
of whiskey and
Exactly. I can drink during the show in this environment.
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good
yeah.
point.
But I
What about
mean,
you, Pat?
I just can't wait to finally see the new space come to life. After finishing the walls this weekend, I really got excited. I was just like, oh shit, it's really happening.
Yo, can we get a fat head of the logo?
A
head.
fat head of the
You remember
logo.
fat head?
Actually, can we get a fat head of one of the Pat pictures you pulled up during the show?
I think
Those
that's a
are
good idea.
fat head pictures.
Those
of
are
Pat.
fat heads. I
Oh,
want fat
okay.
fat heads.
I didn't
Fat,
realize
fat
we were
head.
being fucking hurtful tonight. Anyway, so
Yes, the Snapchat filter. I'm so sorry.
Comedy.
I can't wait to get rid of these fucking other drops. Thank God. Get some more. I was thinking of adding somebody else to the board today. I can't remember who it was. Developers. Developers was another one. But anyway,
Technology.
Are you doing?
thanks so much everyone for tuning into this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. Once again, I am your host, Pat Apparano. With me as always my co-host Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. One last show remote. Next week, what are we doing, boys? Oh wait, we have an open night. Oh, okay. We'll figure it out. So you'll see. You'll
Stay
see.
tuned on them
Stay
socials
tuned.
to figure out what we're doing.